Hello, friends.
Hey.
Happy Wednesday. Look who we have. Oh, I did it the wrong way. This
Oh, I
way.
did it. I did it the wrong way too. Okay. Hey, everyone.
We have Ange here from Tiny Trinkets and Tarot. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. So this is Achieving Wellness. This is our trust talk continued from a couple of weeks ago. And this is trust really in the relationship sort of realm, shall we call it. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for joining us. Some people are coming in right now, so we'll give them a few minutes to get themselves, organized and all that stuff. What's going on with you, Ange? Do you have anything coming up that you'd like to tell us about, or?
I do actually. So, one of my goals and thank you for asking.
Of course.
One of my goals for 2022 was to collaborate with more people out here in the community. I love the connections that we build with one another, and I feel that in doing so, not only do we support one another's channels, but we support each other like in our practices and our actual practical tools that we use out here to help ourselves navigate this crazy world that we're living in.
Right.
So yes, I do have something coming up. So tomorrow I will be on the Tarot Love Community YouTube page with Renee, with Renee. And then Saturday, February 12th, I'll be live with Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Tuesday, February 22nd, I'll be on Tarot Stash with Gerald at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, just getting to know a bunch of different people in the community and having conversations. And hopefully you and I can continue these as well, because I really do appreciate being here.
Well, we are happy to have you, and you are most welcome, my friend, anytime. And congratulations on all the things that are coming up for you. It's very exciting.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to get yourself out there and let the community meet you, right? And see what you do, and get to know you and all that good stuff. So good for you, my friend. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So everybody in the chat, we've got a bunch of people in here. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's other stuff going on, so we appreciate you showing up. We appreciate your support. Michelle, my bell is here. Flowing's here. Cartomancy Mesquite is here.
Hey.
Anna Banana is here. Of course, my husband Kelmar is in the chat, keeping us all safe and offering cake for all kinds of manner of things. I'm not sure what's going on there. And Oracle is here. Flowing is here. You guys are the bomb.com, as they say, and I'm so happy. Holy crap. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. That literally was the snow falling off my roof. I have a steel roof on my house. Oh. I think I need to change my bed.
I was wondering what that was.
Talking about trust. Wow. Well, as soon as my heart settles down, we'll get started. Oh my goodness. Hi, Sin. How you doing, love? All right. So everybody, Tiny Trinkets and Tarot, Ange is here with us. We're going to do the whole trust part 2, talk about relationships. Her channel link is in the description box of the video. Please do show my friend some love. She is fantastic. She's a wonderful person. She cares an awful lot about mental health matters, and she is an excellent card reader. So please do show her some love. All right, Ange, let's get started.
All right.
Let me pull up my notes here. God love me. My old eyes to be able to see. Everybody, I'm sitting at my new desk, and now we get to stare at the door. Yay. It's either a glare or a door. Choose. Oh, but I've got a new office chair. Check it out. That's a pretty good match on the paint, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, sorry, Sin, this is about trust, part 2. So this is trust in relationships. And part 1 was like an overall view of trust. Wouldn't you say, Ange?
Yeah. Yeah, just speaking about the topics of trust. And I guess for those who weren't here, we could just recap maybe just
Yeah.
quickly. So we just focused on trust and what it is. We also focused on the foundations of trust. Um, and so some of the foundations that I established for myself in the relationships that I have, I always said that it begins with empathy, communication, respect, and being non-judgmental, feeling of safety, comfort, and calm, active listening and holding space. And so, with those sort of foundation building blocks, is what trust is built upon. And then from there, you're able to not only trust yourself, but then therefore trust each other. And in part one, we touched on as well self trust and how you actually do have to trust yourself in order to trust other people as well.
Absolutely.
And that's why this part two is taking place, because we wanted to dive a little bit more into once you do trust yourself, then how does that work now with building trust in the relationships that you have with the people around you?
Exactly. Well said, my friend. Well said. One of the reasons why I love having Ange here is she is so well spoken. We could just let her read all the notes and I'll just sit here and nod my head in agreement. Excuse me. So I think that everyone can agree that we've all had a relationship, no matter what form it takes, where we have experienced an issue with trust, whether it be a lack of trust, a knowing inside of us that's like something's not right here, so you start being like kind of suspicious, or an actual, total break in the trust element between the two people. So I want to just say this real quick. As Ange alluded to, right? Trusting yourself is a key ingredient, right? I have to move my note up. Sorry, I'm almost covering Ange up with my note. She's here. Trusting yourself is a key ingredient. As the relationship with yourself, obviously, is the longest and deepest relationship that you're ever going to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So learning to trust your gut instincts and your intuition, of course, highly important. But putting our trust in another requires us to have faith or belief in our own selves, right? Our own power and our own hearts and our own way of sort of maneuvering forward in our life, right? Like, should I do this or should I do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you accept within a relationship? What is a deal breaker for you? We've all had those moments where we've been in a situation and thought, okay, so Ange and I are having a conversation, and no, we did not have this conversation. This is just an example I'm trying to make here. So Ange and I are having a conversation, and she says, oh my gosh, did you hear on the news that, Bob is with Sally, and Sally cheated on Bob 5 years ago? And I say to her, well, that's a deal breaker for me. So I've made a preconceived notion based on no experience of my own, but just the thought of what that would do to me. And already I've set my walls around me, right? We've all been in that situation where we've partaked. That's not writing. That's not good English. Partaked. That's, again, I said it again. We've all had those instances where we have participated in that conversation, right?
Yep.
There is that element of sort of fast forwarding your brain to the hurt, I guess, is the best way that I can explain it. Why you would like put those walls up, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, Ange?
Yeah, I think that you touched on some really important aspects of that. I do think, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but I really do want to reiterate the whole self-trust thing, because, sometimes there's a lot to work through to get to that point.
Yes.
Again, like we talked about in part one, there could be various reasons of why maybe you don't trust yourself. Maybe it's trauma from your past or a variety of other things. Maybe that's just how you were raised. as well. But everything does stem from there. And, then it goes back to sort of trusting your gut. They say you're trusting your intuition. And that's a big thing too. And it's actually a conversation that we were just having backstage, where I was saying, yeah, like I'm collabing with a bunch of different people now, and I'm just finding my way out here. And, and it did all come down to trust. It's just trusting that, I'm just showing up who I am, and that I will eventually find my way, which again is helping me to develop relationships and friendships out here. So I think that you prepared more tangible tools for to share here today with trust and how people can maybe do some physical things, where I sort of just focused on, like, again, the foundations of the trust, but going into key components of that.
Yep.
And then a few other things with a few cards that I had found around the topic. So I will let you navigate the conversation how you want to, but I think that you have definitely more to offer here in terms of some practical things that people can actually do when it comes to building trust.
Okay. Well, thank you. This is going to tie into, I think, what you were sort of probably have got prepared in your notes, which I love, by the way, that Anne shows up prepared with notes. I mean, she's so invested, honestly, truly, from a person who is diagnosed with mental health disorder. It is important to me that, that when a guest comes on, that they're here because they're in it to win it. You know what I mean? Because it's important to them. They've either supported someone or they've lived it themselves, or just you coming from a health professional background, and you come invested and prepared, and it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to the people in the chat, right? So thank you for that. Hi, Faye. How's it going, hun? Hi, Shield Maiden. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. We really appreciate it. So here's what I thought of. So there are many ways that our trust can be broken or damaged within any relationships. And I'm just going to mention a few ways, right? So you can experience betrayal, right? Being stabbed in the back sort of idea, right? You can, which is something that catches you totally by surprise, right? Your complete disbelief that could actually happen to you, which sets off a whole other set of things that are happening within yourself, right? To process, right? You can be disrespected. And I mean, that scale is like 0 to 100, I'm sure, right? And a level of disrespect that you are either given or that you feel, or maybe both, right? They could vary. You could be in an abusive relationship, whether that be mentally, physically, or emotionally, or of course, all three, which we don't wish for anyone. You could be in a toxic relationship where, it's just like chaos and drama and chaos and drama and chaos and drama. And you start to feel like you are living that chaos and drama. Like you start to take that on and filter that through your own self as if you're experiencing it. And in my personal experience, that often happens when you are trying to be supportive of someone who is in an abusive relationship, that you almost like take that on, right? Or it can be like the mean girls in high school kind of idea. Misaligned values. When what is going on in the world right now, right? You're either on the left or you're on the right. There is no in between, which, that is going to cause a problem, right? Can I really trust this person, right? So what are a couple of things that we could do to help ourselves through these particular issues? Really, really quickly, I want to say, number one, most of the work that you have to do to help yourself starts with you, right? You're the one that has to release. You're the one that has to let it go. You're the one that has to sort of filter it through yourself, right? So just to really quickly, a couple of things, and this is my example. So in the case of betrayal, right, you're going to have to process the thing that was done or said to you, right? Then you need to process through the release of the anger and the hurt feelings. Then you need to create some sort of safe boundary for yourself, or boundaries for yourself, so that you can feel safe and secure moving forward, right? So that you're protected, that same situation doesn't sort of crop up or creep up for you again. So here are a couple of things that I thought of. Number one, most important, seek professional help, right? Doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, someone of that nature, right? Possibly even a mediator in some of the cases that I mentioned. Number two, write a letter to the person about the situation, all the details. And it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of emotions being released, but write a letter. It will help to get the emotions out of your brain and onto the piece of paper. Then you may move forward and do something like a forgiveness ceremony or something of that nature, burn the letter, those kinds of things, right? Stand in the shower. Apparently this is a thing. I personally can't do it because I have like a fear and a phobia about the shower, as weird as that sounds. But it is a proven therapeutic technique where you stand in the shower, either facing or back to it, and you let the water cleanse down and sort of roll the tears out of you, and everything goes down the drain. And I suppose it's the action of watching it go down the drain that allows you to feel cleansed. So that's something that you can definitely do. Mirror work. We all know that I'm a great advocate for mirror work. Stand in the mirror and have a conversation with your reflection and remind yourself of how wonderful you are, how beautiful you are, and sort of have a back and forth conversation and work through the process of what happened and how you reacted, etc. Right? Meditation, honestly. If I could spell when I was typing, it would be a lot easier, friends. Quieting your mind, of course, right? Just to feel the peace and the solitude is sort of like a quick reset and refresh to sort of help you become more clear and present about what's happening right now and not back there, if that makes sense. And sorry, because I've gone on for a minute. I pulled a bunch of cards, you guys. And when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch, right? I'm just going to really, really quickly mention them. These are all from the Empath Empowerment deck. So one, restore yourself with alone time, right? So just doing some me time, right? Pamper yourself, give yourself a bubble bath, take yourself for a mani-pedi, all of those kinds of things, right? Read a book, go outside, smell the flowers. Retreat to the natural world. We all know, go hug a tree, right? Go for a little walk in nature. Meditate on the spaciousness of air. And I love this message, so I'm going to read the whole message. When you are stuck, picture yourself in an open, airy space with room to move and breathe. Let yourself feel free and empowered. It reminds me very much of the shower sort of situation, right? So that's lovely. Beneficial Tarot is in the house. Woo, 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 woo. Hi, Ben. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Hey, Ben.
Let yourself receive support. Let your friends, your family, or the professional people help you through this. The community, right? Friends, beautiful card. Breathe. Just breathe. Breathe it through, right? There are breathing techniques that will help you through these things. Visualize a shield of protection. I mean, I would never have thought of that. I think that's beautiful. Enjoy the tranquility of water. Again, speaks to the shower thing. Practice self-soothing. Friends, the message reads, you have the power to comfort yourself when you are upset. Place your hand gently over your heart and send yourself unconditional love to ease the tension and the frustration. That is beyond beautiful. I love that. I love any tool or tip that we can find that doesn't cost us anything. I don't have to wait for 2 weeks for something to come to my house that I've ordered and had to pay money for. I love that this is just that simple, that I place my hand over my heart and I tell myself, it's okay. I love you. You're going to be fine. It's beautiful. Real quick, look at the stars. Ange liked this one. I read this to her earlier. Look up and remember that you are but a tiny speck in a large, mysterious universe. Let the magic of the stars connect you to your own special magic. right? Appreciate the beauty of the moon. To calm and center yourself, simply gaze at the moon, absorb the purity of the energy and the sublime presence of it all. What wonderful messages, and what a great way to sort of now pass the baton over to my great friend and let her take it from here.
That's great. And, you know, it is so important that we do know that we do have these sort of basic, down to earth, tangible, free, if you will, tools.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get caught up in the big picture of it. And although we do want to go back to our disclaimer, of course, you know, that professional help is number one.
Yeah.
If this is something that you are really struggling with. But, you know, even having said that and speaking to it from a healthcare professional's role, I guess, is that, you know, in healthcare, we also do implement these very basic but powerful tools as well, or at least a good healthcare professional will include them. And that's a whole nother thing to navigate, right? Is finding a healthcare professional that has your best interest, that is not so quick to just numb you out with a pill, although again, I don't want to get off on that topic. It's just that I respect that there's a time and place for medications, but unfortunately in the Western world, it has been noted that simply it's being abused in that way. Instead of trying to get to the core of the matter and giving people these tangible tools, we're just sort of bypassing it. So those are great tools, and certainly ones that I use in my life as well. Breath work is huge.
Yeah.
Another thing that I recently have been incorporating into my life is tapping. I never really, I mean, I've heard of it, of course, and it was sort of like, I thought it was like a fad sort of thing for a while, but there's another member in our community, Branya Kay, and she was talking about it on one of her videos and actually like tapping with the tarot. And I was like, wow, this is really neat. This is different. So yes, there are definitely some tools out there that can help us overcome certain situations. So then I guess to go on to some of the notes that I had taken. Oh yeah, you know, I've heard of that deck. I have not gotten it, but I'm definitely aware of Dr. Orloff's work.
I have. Sorry, someone asked in the chat. I was trying to be secretive about it, and not.
Oh no.
I have so the Power to Surrender cards, as well as the Empath Empowerment deck, and I'm telling you, I got these. And like I fell in love with them, like immediately, immediate connection to them. I mean, I wish I could have 4 of them. They're beautiful. Sorry, Ange, go on, my love.
No, don't apologize. That's great. And actually, the Surrender deck is one of my favorites. I've had it for many years, and it's a very powerful one. And it usually delivers exactly what I need to hear in the moment. So, right. So some notes that I've taken down sort of goes back and reiterates these foundations of trust and unpacks them a little bit. So I have written down some points. So, for example, things that we can do to basically prove our trustworthiness, if that, it kind of sounds not really the way I want to say it, but it's true. It's like we have to sort of prove that we are trustworthy. We have to prove to others that we can be trusted, that they can rely on us. And so I put...
Sorry, Ange, I'm going to interrupt you. Sorry, just one sec. Gina, there is that is an excellent suggestion about tapping is also good because it can calm you down. There's many different forms of tapping. There is one on the channel. I'm not going to do it, but there is one on the channel. If ever you forget or you don't remember how to do it, and that is one that was given to me by my therapist, so that's not just Kelly making something up, and it is to slow the vagus nerve down, which just sort of slows the flow of the adrenaline, right? So if ever you need to go there, it's on the channel. Sorry, there was no way for me to type all that in there. So sorry, Ange.
No, this is perfect. I really like interacting with the chat. And as you know, I don't go live very often. So I'm still trying to find that balance of trying to deliver what we can in the time we have and still interact with the chat.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for everyone that is here and interacting. If you have any questions for myself or Kelly, of course, put them in the chat and we're happy to further discuss. So I wrote, what are some qualities of trust? How can you build and develop trust in relationships in your life? And how do we prove our trustworthiness? So again, going off of the foundations that we already established, I wrote some things down, such as follow through on your commitments and promises. Make sure that you are going to do what you say you're going to do. This one is huge, not just in friendships, but in relationships anywhere in life. You know, people's time is valuable out here. We all have 24 hours in a day, doesn't matter who we are. And so when you say that you're going to be somewhere, you know, for example, like this live, you know, I made sure that I was prepared. I made sure that I showed up a little bit early for technical issues, which I did experience a little bit. But it's showing respect to one another, and it's showing that you actually care about whatever interaction is that you're doing with the person.
Yeah.
I also wrote down something.
I love that. And sorry, I did it against you, but I love that because the commitment that you're making to your own time to give is the same as the other person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you took notes and it took you 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes that you could have been spending with your children or your husband or your wife or your grandparents or whatever the case may be. You have to respect that someone took the time to invest in you as well as themselves, right? It is the commitment to the relationship, really, when you look at it, right? Exactly. It is commitment, and you must appreciate that for what it is. Sorry, my friend.
Yep. No, please don't apologize. It's a conversation, right? So this is good. But an example that I wrote down for doing what you're saying you're going to do is, of course, I use an example from my profession, is like when I say to one of my patients that I'm caring for, oh, I'll be right back with that glass of water that you asked for. It gets really busy in the health field. I'm sure that you can all appreciate that. So something as simple as a glass of water is like something really easy to forget. But that person that is laying in that bed that can't get up to get that glass of water, that is trusting you to bring it back to them, and now you haven't shown back up. And then it's just, I know it sounds maybe like a little thing, but it's a big thing, because it's like something as simple as that can actually ruin the trust that you're trying to sort of build and develop with the patients that you're serving or with the people that you're interacting with. So that was an example.
If you're coming from a place like in that particular instance, I think it's very important if you look at it from the right standpoint. That person that's in that bed is relying on you. More often than not, they're probably afraid. They're probably very frightened. Yes. And so the minute that you say to them, you know what, I'll be right back with that. Like you're making them a priority. You're letting them know that you hurt them, right? And that you have them in your sights. And when you come back with that glass of water, that is when you've established the connection, which allows the trust to just, sort of soar and continue to grow. When I worked in the group home, as I've told many people, everyone was nonverbal. I had to develop and communicate, and that is exactly how I would do it. I would say, okay, so I'm going to go outside of the washroom while you do your toileting program, but I'm right outside the door if you need me. You just on the wall and I'll be right here. So they had to, we had to develop that connection that they could trust that when I walked outside the door, to respect their privacy, I was going to come back if they needed me. So to your point, I mean, that's a fabulous example of something that is so tiny, but can be so huge to so many people that might be otherwise, like, the people that are vulnerable in that sense, that they're sort of, they have no choice but to trust that you are going to do what you say that you're going to do. I think that's an excellent point, my friend.
Yes.
And
I'm not sure if it's just on my end, but your microphone is like getting loud and then quiet and loud and quiet. It could just be my connection.
It could be me, because I reset all my desk and everything. So I apologize. Let me know in the chat if you guys.
No, it's okay. That. I just have earbuds in and it got like really loud and I kind of like jumped a little bit. I just wanted you to know, like, no, it's okay. It's good. I can hear you, but Okay, so yeah, so do what you say you're going to do. I mean, it's just so important. I mean, everyone has busy lives, so whatever it is, whether you're responding to an ad of somebody selling something online and you say you're going to be at their house at 6 p.m., just do it. And please, if you can't make it, just let them know. Like it really is that simple. Healthy communication entails being honest about your needs, expectations, and what you have going on. So please communicate openly, clearly, and honestly. And it kind of ties in exactly with what I just said there. But expectations are a tricky thing to navigate, right? Because there's healthy expectations and there's unhealthy expectations. But sort of laying them out there and just being completely transparent, I think is really healthy. And, Kelly, I haven't known you for very long, but I do feel that we have developed, a friendship and a trust in a short amount of time. I think really because of this, because, we aren't afraid to just say what's on our mind, respectfully, of course, and be transparent and just be really clear about what our expectations are. Hey, this is what I was thinking. What are you thinking? And it's been a really I don't know. It's been a really great dialogue, and I do appreciate that. And I think it's kind of hard sometimes to find people out here that are willing to just be authentic and just like tell me like it is. I'd rather you just tell me like it is than to sort of beat around the bush,
I thank you for saying that, Ange. I don't want to disclose our personal relationship to people. I didn't know Ange before, like a month ago, really. And now I feel like when I started talking to Ange, I feel like I've known you from a long time ago, in terms of you make it so easy to get to know you, right? Like you're so genuine and authentic. And that's important. But when it comes to the trust in our relationship that we're developing, we've both had instances where we have said to each other, geez, thank you for being so honest.
Yeah.
And it was, which is always kind of funny to me, because you shouldn't need to say thank you, but in certain times you almost feel like you need to applaud it, so the other person knows that you appreciate it, because it is lacking in our world today, because people don't have the time to care,
right,
to dive into something, right? And I know you have said to me that you appreciate me being like honest or transparent with you, and I with you as well. And to your point about what you said, I just think it's fantastic. And I want to throw two comments up. So one, this is Flowing saying Ange has a gentle spirit. I totally agree, Flowing. She's a fantastic person. And I'm not just saying that because she's my friend. I'm saying that because it's the truth. And then Faye says, my dad used to say, when you are invited to someone's house, always arrive just a little bit before time. It shows respect. Arriving late shows disregard for their time and feelings. Be respectful.
Yes, exactly. And even, something like a job interview. Okay, your job interview is at 10 a.m. Well, you do need to be there 10 minutes prior. That is respectful. And so, yes, there's relationships of all kinds. And I love that you've shared that. So thank you. And thank you for your compliments, Flowing. I don't take compliments very well, so I'm learning to accept that. So thank you. Thank you.
You need to trust that it's coming from a good source, my friend.
Exactly. So yes, and just to kind of wrap up that last comment there, we are in such a divided world right now. It is more divided than I've ever witnessed in my lifetime on this planet. And when we can come together and just say what we feel, and just say, what our truth is, what we're currently living, and have another person sort of respect that, and maybe not agree with you, but to say, hey, thanks for being honest with me. Maybe that's not the way I feel, but I respect where you're coming from. And again, that goes back to the relationship thing, building the trust with relationships. I unfortunately have, I don't want to say lost, but there's been a lot of relationships damaged in my family over the current world situation. And it's really sad to me that, family members especially can't respect that. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. So I'm going to go on to the next topic here. And it says, don't overcommit yourself. So again, do what you say you're going to do. Don't overcommit. If you can't do something, if you don't want to do something, you have to be honest. It's okay to say no. And I'm sitting here like preaching to the choir, because I'm telling you, like, I have had to learn that myself. I am a giver, as you probably already have seen, and I would rather overgive and deliver. But I definitely have had to learn that lesson over the years of not overcommitting to something and just being real with it, because really I'm not doing a service to myself or to that other person by taking on something that's too much, or maybe something that I don't want to take on. What time do we got here? Okay. So
We're good.
Respecting boundaries, yours and others, and that ties
After my mouse is frozen, we're good. I'm trying to pin a comment. My mouse is frozen. And I'm afraid if I click it, I'm going to like remove myself. Oh, there. Gosh. It fixed itself. Phew. Sorry, Ange. Go ahead, my love. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. So respecting boundaries, yours and others, which ties into empathy, which is, again, one of the key foundations of trust. Yeah. Boundaries are huge. And I think that when we are entering into any relationship, it's very, very important to establish that. I'll give you an example. I have been invited on to some other channels as well. And I've established right away, I will not do political readings. I will not do medical or legal readings. And again, that's just an example of a form of a boundary. But it's a boundary that I've established for myself out here as a reader, that I'm not comfortable doing that. And I don't want to engage in that sort of thing. So you just, put it out there. So don't be afraid to speak, what's on your mind, and to maintain those boundaries. So that way, everybody in the relationship knows how to navigate, how to go about things, that they're not harming one another in the process.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to say hi to Black Cat Tarot. Hi, Maya. Thank you so much.
Hey, Maya.
My friend. To that point, Ange, I think, and I'm only going to speak from my personal experience here. I oftentimes will stop myself before I perhaps sort of enact my boundary, right? I'll oftentimes stop myself from fear, right? If I say this, they're not going to like me. If I do this, they're not going to like, you know what I mean? But I've had to, in the last few years, remind myself that if someone is not going to be my friend because I said how I felt, because I expressed something that was important to me, and they were going to have an issue with it, perhaps maybe they're not as much of my friend as I thought that they once were, if you understand what I mean. So it's important that you, again, not to go back to the beginning, but it's important that you trust yourself to know what's best for you. That if you feel, for example, we've all had that conversation where we've said to each other, okay, listen, I got something to tell you, but you got to promise you're never going to say it to anybody. When you say that, you are not really saying it to the other person. You're doing that to soothe your own self, because you're like, oh, if this gets out, this could be big, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my point in saying that is, I believe that we all have that voice in us that'll say, well, maybe you should just let it go. Don't cause a problem, because we think it's negative. Setting a boundary is like a negative thing. It's a scary thing, right? It doesn't have to be. You to come from a place of positivity and think to yourself, I am doing this to protect me. I'm not doing it to keep anyone away from me. I'm just doing this to protect me, to make me feel better. If you do it from sort of reverse the wording a little bit and put more of a positive spin on it, instead of it being so negative, it almost becomes more of a reinforcement than a sort of like a judgment. I guess the best way to say it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm just reading the chat here, and Sempress has chimed in and said some things as well that are spot on to what we're saying here as well. Okay, so I said don't overcommit. Being supportive and building others up. But again, and I just put a arrow, but don't overcommit to that, right? Don't be out here supporting so many people where you're forgetting to support yourself too, right? So building trust through vulnerability. Opening up comes with risk of being hurt, but it's necessary. It's a necessary step to building trust. You know, and again, there's that boundary line, right? So don't open yourself up vulnerably to people or about things that clearly that you're not willing to. But when we do allow that, even if it's just a little bit, it does build that trust with people, because not only are you showing them that you do trust them with what you're sharing, but you're also putting it out there for others to maybe resonate with you.
Yes.
I'll use an example. There's a tarot tuber out here that I follow, and she recently just posted a video about her anxiety. And, you know, she just said, like, hey, look, I was supposed to go live the other day, and I couldn't. My anxiety got the best of me, and I'm sorry that I you know, whatever. And she just was real about it, and she shared about it, and she pulled a card on it. And oh my gosh, all of the sort of comments, oh wow, me too, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And again, like using some or sharing some practical tools on how she helps herself get out of that, and some people sort of bounce back that into the comment section. And that is what the power of vulnerability can do as well, is that
100%.
when you share what your experience is, you sort of invite others to do the same in a really safe, as safe as the World Wide Web could be. I just meant in a safe way that others can resonate with what you're going through, that you're not
100%.
alone in this.
I am living proof here on this channel that is exactly what will happen. Everyone knows this story, and I'm not saying this because everyone should do it or not do it. I'm just saying, to your point and exclamation point on what you just said. I was sitting here, you know, living not my best life for many years, and I found this community and found love and support in a way that in which I wasn't offered it previous, and it felt safe and it felt good. And bye, Gina. Sweet dreams, my love. Hope you have a great night's sleep. Thank you for being here with us. Many blessings to you. I was sitting here one night, and the Nasty Women Tarot was on, and Lisa was having a birthday party, and all of a sudden she was like, hey, if anyone's in the chat wants to come up. And I thought, this is my chance to tell everyone, because there was like, you know, 200 people watching or some crazy number like that. Thank you. That's really all I wanted to say. I was in my PJs, in full disclosure, and my hair was looking like my new plant here. That's kind of what I was looking like. And I just kind of went like just myself as best possible, and boom, I was on the screen. And yes, Maya was there that night, and I just said, I just want to say thank you. And that one moment has now led me to sit here and, you know, push out what I know and receive back what the chat knows. And, you know, we've sort of got this conveyor belt of information and love and support and participation. It is such a beautiful thing. It's difficult to articulate, but that, my friend, is exactly, you know, how that transpires. It just takes one person to say something that then resonates with another person. And then you have, I mean, this is what happened. Ange was on a screen and said something great, right? And now we're sitting here together saying a whole bunch of great stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happens, right?
Faye mentioned Ange, even though I like Autumn, I had to take a break from watching her because the political stuff started to get the best of me. I don't know who Autumn is, but I
Black and Orange Tarot.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm still getting to know certain people. There's so many channels out here that I don't know all of them. But I mean, I can definitely respect that, right? That there's certain content that is delivered that maybe you just don't resonate with. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's just like, oh, I got to take a break from that and then come back to it. Or maybe you sort of have just changed as a person, and you're just like, I'm not going to align myself with that energy anymore. I'd rather focus on this. And there's nothing wrong with that, because again, it goes back to what you were just saying. Is like, we sort of come together, we share whatever it is that we have going on or what we know to be true. And if you resonate with it, cool. And if not, hey, there's another channel out there as well that maybe you can. So I just want to, speaking of respecting time, I just want to make sure, because I do know that you have your show coming up after this. So I just want to wrap this up by saying there's a few other things that I wrote, but it really does tie back to this. You can see how many of the things that building trust are interconnected on some level. So they really do all intertwine. You know, it goes back to the authenticity, and it goes back to the empathy and holding space for one another, and ultimately respecting one another.
Yes.
And being real, just being real. When trust is broken, there's always that chance that it can never be repaired. Some bridges are burned forever, while others can be mended with time. And sometimes professional help is needed to mend those bridges. So, and then that sort of just ties into some of the trust issues that we've already touched on a little bit as well, but I won't get deeper into that. And then I just ended with the key and essence of building trust and maintaining trust in relationships to me is consistency, a foundation in which that we can then build upon. So, you know, I know who I can trust in my life because they're consistently either there for me or have not failed me or have not hurt me in certain ways. So consistency is a big one. I mean, nobody's perfect. Listen, like I get that. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, if you just show up as you and you don't try to be someone else or try to have some like really like messed up expectations, then you allow that sort of consistency and that ebb and flow. You don't have to like, oh, like who am I when I'm around that person? It's like, no, just be yourself, just be authentic, and then it'll just naturally flow from there. But I do think sometimes people just don't know who they are, or they don't know how to trust themselves, and then that is how the sort of ripple effect of all of this hurt can come from mistrust.
Yeah, I think to that point that it might be actually elevated at this moment in time, ever so slightly, because we've all been away from people, or most of us have been away from. And when I say that, yes, we come in contact with people, but we're not coming in contact in the way that we once were, where we don't have to think twice before we come in contact. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we have all set boundaries up around ourselves, and it's going to take a bit to break those down. It's going to take a bit. And I don't know about you. I'm only speaking from personal experience, but the next time that I walk into the hairdresser, the next time I walk into a store, because you all know I don't leave my house, it's going to take an awful lot of trust on my part to walk into that said building, and that I'm not going to, like, all my triggers aren't going to like start going off like a fire alarm. You know what I mean? It's everything in me to trust myself, to trust in wherever I'm going, and that it's going to be safe for me. So it's very important what you just touched on. It's extremely important. Like for right now, it's very relevant, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and then I've just pulled a couple of cards just to kind of go along with what we were saying. I don't think we shared this one on the last one, but it is from the Sacred Forest. Did you share the one from the Sacred Forest the last time? I don't remember.
I think we both, well, it's funny because we both pulled out the same cards last time, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I don't think I showed it. I think we kind of said it, but go ahead and show it and we'll read the message.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is. This is called The Crystal Cave of Trust. And the part in the guidebook that really resonated with, I think, what we're saying here is trust is the foundation of the ability to manifest. Everything was created because someone believed that it was possible, and patience is absolutely crucial in the application of this principle. Change can happen in a heartbeat, but some things require time. So please be patient and know that it will happen. Whatever receives your care and attention will flourish, and believe you've planted your seeds and now you have to give them time to grow. And I think why I wanted to reiterate that is that trust is something that you build, something that is built over time. It is not automatic, although, as you've pointed out, when you do meet certain people, it's sort of like, wow, I don't know how, but I just like trust you like right away. And I appreciate that, but I also sort of warn people like, be careful with that, because some people are real good at that. Some people are real good at that sort of masking who they really are and what their intentions are.
Yeah.
And then you sort of like, oh yeah, no, I trust that person. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa. So again, it ties back to that consistency. Is that person consistently showing up on this platform, on that platform, or whatever? Do you see that they're the same person, or are they trying to mold themselves to fit in? Like, oh, this person has, like 20,000 subscribers. So when I'm on that person's channel, I'm going to act a certain way so that more people will like me. That's a red flag for you right there. Okay. Because I don't give a crap if you have 1 subscriber or if you have 1 million subscribers. If you're going to show up, you're just going to be who you are, or at least I would hope that is the truth. And that does tie back into trusting that individual. Like, again, what are your intentions? Are your intentions to come on that 1 million subscriber channel just to get subscribers? Or are you really here for the conversation that we're having?
Exactly.
So
exactly. Gina says practicing discernment, which I love that, because that's very true.
Yes, discernment is huge. It really is. And it does go back to sort of that trusting your gut, which ties in perfectly to this trust your innocence. This card here.
Beautiful card.
That is from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck. I love this deck. And so it's saying it can be hard to decipher between intuition and what our mind is telling us. So stories, projections, expectations, or fear can arise under guise of our intuition. So again, going back to like learning how to trust yourself. To distinguish truthful inner guidance from paranoia, we must return to innocence, to our purest essence. Here we have access to the truth of our being. And then it just goes into saying, to tell the difference between intuition and mind chatter, you need to recognize a clear instinctive yes and a clear distinctive no. And for this, you must trust yourself. The foundation of self-trust is honesty. You must be completely honest with yourself about what feels good, true to you, and what does not. And honesty is more than not lying to yourself. It's also about not withholding information. It's about having deep transparency, again, so you can see how we've actually already discussed all of these things. And some might describe your intuitive yes as a softening rather than a feeling of tightening, contracting, or avoidance. So if you are to stay on your optimal path, trusting our original innocence or instincts is key.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful, Ange. I have 2 cards here from the Power of Surrender deck, real quick, because you know I'm a fan, right?
Yes.
I've got surrendering to setting limits. Okay, so not only is the picture pretty much self-explanatory, but the message is really important, I think. It is healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. Remember that no is a complete sentence. So, to all the points that Ange has mentioned and the few things that I said earlier, it is okay for you to say, you know what, I'm not really vibing with this right at this moment. It doesn't mean that wall is set forever or that boundary is going to be in place forever. It just means right now, in this moment, in this conversation, in this place, whatever the case may be, this week, I'm not really feeling this. So it's okay to put your hand up and say, you know what, hold on a minute.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
And do you know, I love that. Like, no is a complete sentence. Fantastic. Surrender what is. I mean, the image, again, beautiful, right? Standing there looking up at the bright sun and the sky, right? And just letting the air flow through you, just taking it all away. I love this. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. So in other words, if you're on the flip side and something has happened to cause the mistrust or the distrust, right? Don't carry that hurt. Don't carry it, right? You got to recycle it, use it to learn, set your boundaries, right? Give yourself a little bit of self-love and let it flow right out of you, because you are doing more to create further distrust by holding on to it than you are to let go of it, right? And believe me, letting go is not easy, my friends.
Oh, no.
Not easy, but it can be done. And
and that ties into forgiveness, which is a whole nother topic.
You want to come back and talk about forgiveness, my friend? I am more than happy to have you anytime to talk about forgiveness. We will discuss behind the scenes.
Yes, yes,
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
Well, this has been great. Thank you. I appreciate this conversation. I think it's an important one. I think there's a lot to unpack. I'm sure that we only scratched the surface, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's given some people some food for thought, that when they're going about their lives and connecting with people, especially, you know, with the internet, we are so able to connect freely with so many different people out here. It's just really good to have sort of a set of rules, your own personal rules to go by when you are
Yes.
out here forming these relationships. Just be careful of who you are allowing into your space, and just set those boundaries. And but at the same time, don't be afraid to, you know, make connections out here, because connection is really important with one another, and something that we have really, I feel, lost along the way with what is going on in our world right now.
Yeah. I think it's really important to say this, and you know, I've said this so many times. I am an open book. I don't treat Angie any different than I treat you guys, right? That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling her what color my underwear are today.
Yeah.
The point that I'm making is this: you can be honest and open in terms of having a dialogue and you know, sort of enacting with other people in terms of starting the foundation of a friendship. You don't have to tell them, you know, what your social insurance number is. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. You have to have a boundary to protect yourself, so that you are not you know, like sort of enabling like a stalker kind of situation. You just have to be yourself.
Exactly. Yep. Yes.
Right. All right. Real quick. I'm going to ask Ange in a minute to remind us of where she's going this week, because she's got some exciting things coming up. So Kirk 213 is in the chat. Love you, my friend. Shield
Hey,
me.
Jay.
Wisdom and Tarot is in the chat. Love you, my friend. Black Hat Tarot. Love you, my friend. All of these wonderful people have channels. Please do go check them out. Show my friends some love. It is important to me that we all do that for each other. Of course, show my friend Tiny Trinkets and Tarot and some love. And anyone else in the chat that I might have forgotten, I do apologize. Real quick, I am doing my show at 7. So you all go to the chat in a minute. Don't leave yet, but you all go to the chat, and I'll be right there as soon as I finish with this. And we will continue our talk on positivity, which we are covering for the whole month of February. Tonight's topic is positivity through our home. How do we boost our positivity in our home and in our workspace? And I hope that you'll all be there. And what's coming up for you, would like everyone to know about?
Okay, so thank you. So tomorrow I'm a guest on the TLC, so the Tarot Love Community YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Renee. That'll be my first appearance there. I'm excited. I know that Renee has wanted me on there for a bit, so I'm excited about that. Saturday, February 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Sharon, Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot. I'll be doing free live readings with her. Tuesday, February 22nd. I know it's a little bit ways from, but anyway, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Gerald Tarot Stash. And also, I'm starting a new series on my channel called Creating Connection. And so it's where I'm going to be hosting live guests on my channel, and we are going to talk about different things that they are creating in their lives. It can be something like a deck that they've created that is for sale, or a book, but it doesn't have to be something that is like a product for sale. It can be whatever it is that you're creating, because the whole point of the series is the importance of connection with one another and the act of creating or creativity in our lives. It's actually a fundamental human need in our lives, and I do feel that it's something that we do have to connect and bring one another together. So you can be on the lookout for that. If you subscribe, you'll be able to see some scheduled ones that I already have up there. So,
well, I'm just saying, I crochet. So if you know, and I did create my own oracle deck. I'm just saying,
yes.
You know, if in case you wanted to invite your friend on your channel, I'm just it out there. I'm
Yes.
available. I'm just kidding.
No, absolutely. And thank you for saying that, because I want people to contact me. I will schedule you. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, like come, because again, it's all about the connection. It's all about the creativity. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'd love to have you. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll schedule something in. So and for anyone in the chat or listening back, if you want to come on, just email me. All my contact information is on my channel's about page. And so, yeah, thank you for allowing me that opportunity, Kelly. Thanks.
No, please. I love you, girl. You know that. Shield Maiden just subscribed to Tiny Trinkets and Tarot. Love it. Semper says, I'm generally creating chaos. Me too, my friend. I love the fact that you said that. Joji is here. Hello, my friend. Thank you, Kelly. And nice to see you, Ange, with me, is what Joji is saying.
Thanks, Joji.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. So what's coming up for Kelly? So tonight at 7 o'clock, in a couple of seconds, I'll be in my other live talking about positivity, how to boost it in your home and in your workspace. Tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be here doing oracles and chat. Friday, I will be here at 3 p.m. Eastern doing, what am I doing on Friday? Thanks, Spirit, it's Friday. And then on the 14th, I will be with Ali of Heart and Soul Connected, talking about loving ourselves on Valentine's Day.
Yay.
So
that's going to be cool.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Ange, for being here. Many blessings to everybody. And I think that's it, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay. All right, my friends. Mwah! Many blessings to everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Let me hit the button.